guitar came off. So I cut it down from 2 songs to 1. So thank you. I'll try to keep the guitar on this time. Storm sky, wars bleed on, oceans rise, defeat the dawn. Lost in a story told too long till a new one is found. Children wander a rainy street, elders with no food to eat, but hearts still beat and they sound like standing ground. We are standing ground. We are standing ground. Reaching ground. Sometimes it seems the earth is shaken, my spirit feels bruised and breaking. Breathe in and breathe out. Turn to the brave ones, learn their names. Walk in beauty, tend the flames. Turn to each other, 'cause love remains standing ground. We are standing ground. We are standing ground. Reaching around. Build a raft, light a lantern, set them dancing on the water. Breathe. Standing ground. Standing ground.
A lot of environmental activism, I think, is the fear and anger and frustration that comes with inaction and its place, and a lot of the problems that lead to things like climate change and pollution and things like that, I think, are from like a loss of connection with the earth, and I think there's a lot of really good examples of people who have kind of maintained that connection, and it's important for us to keep that in mind and to highlight that and to remind us of that. Art Shigoni has agreed to perform a 4 Directions dance for us to start, so please welcome Art.
My name is Art Shigoni. I'm very honored to be here with you. I know why I'm here. Because of my ancestors. We've been telling you this for years and years, but you just haven't been listening. We've been telling you things are going to happen to Mother Earth that you're not going to be able to change. We've been telling you that if you don't take care of the water, you're not going to have it to drink. We've been telling you if you take down the trees, you're not going to be able to breathe. But I think we've been talking to the wrong people. You're here, but they're not. And we need to get this message out because our future generation. Our land is not for sale. Our treaties are not for sale. When you came to this Mother Earth, you came here with nothing. We helped you. We gave you everything we could. And because of the greed and the power and the money, they thought they could have it all. But can they? Where are they going to go with it? I think they've forgotten about their future generation, that they have to put up with their future generation is after them, just like ours. I have grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and we are the 7th generation. And I have to say I'm sorry to my future generation that I haven't done as good enough job. But you know what? no longer. We're going to fight. We're going to do what we can to make it right.
Right, all right.
And if we can help Bernie Sanders make it, get out there and vote for Bernie Sanders. Dump the Trump. These guys are not who we want in office. It's up to us to tell these people, no, we're tired of it. No more. No more. This is our land. This is our air. This is our future. No more.
No more.
And this dance I'm going to do is also for a political activist, John Trudell, who passed away. So I'm doing this 4 directions for him and for all of us too. If you have tobacco, put it out. And also put it out for the families who could not be here, for the rest of our relatives. So thank you for being here and for spreading the word. Get it out more. Thank you.
Technical difficulties with the mic, so we're going to try to get that worked out. But while we're doing that, as some large decisions that were made about an hour and a half ago, I'd like to invite Spencer Black to talk about what happened in Paris and what it means for us. Spencer is the vice president of the Sierra Club, the National Sierra Club. And he's been a political leader and an environmental leader in our area for a very, very long time. And we're very proud to have him here to talk to us.
Last month in Paris, we saw the worst of humanity. Today, at 7:20, 196 countries, virtually every nation in the world, came together and unanimously approved a historic pact to finally address the climate crisis on a worldwide basis. Today is a day to celebrate. Today is a day to celebrate, and it's a real celebration. But it's a celebration with an asterisk, too. You know, it would be nice if we could just go home, decorate the tree, have a little eggnog, watch the Packers win tomorrow, and say we won, it's a great celebration, and it's all done. Our work is not done. If I can use, in honor of the Packers, a football metaphor, what happened today moved the ball well down the field. But there's still a ways to go to the goalpost. We're not in the end zone yet. And there's some very powerful, very wealthy forces who want to make sure we not only do not do what needs to be done to stop the destruction of this planet, they want to push us backwards. And that's why we have work to do. Now, the deal in Paris is a big deal. It is a very big deal. It's a culmination of the work of many people, many of the people here. What brought that together was people power, grassroots power. You know, last fall, I went for a little stroll through the streets of New York. I had a little company, about 400,000 of my closest friends. It was the largest, by far the largest climate demonstration we ever had in this country. And it was a massive statement that the people in this country, and it was a diverse group, young and old, all ethnicities, people from all walks of life, walking together to say, we have to do more to protect future generations. Literally, the future of the planet is at stake. And it was that kind of grassroots effort that helped give the backing to President Obama to start taking steps and reverse our national policy and then lead to a worldwide agreement. It was that kind of grassroots power that, against all odds, stopped the XL pipeline. And it's that kind of grassroots power that will move us forward, because the agreement in Paris is a good start, a good step, but it is only a step. And if that's all we do, if that's all the nations of the world do, it is not enough. It is not near enough. Because the commitments that the nations in Paris have made is enough to actually reduce what would happen, substantially reduce the kind of emissions that would happen if nothing was done. But even though the nations pledged to reduce emissions, not only below 2 degrees centigrade, but actually adopted at least the aspirational goal of 1.5 degrees centigrade, which is what scientists tell us is at a minimum necessary, the pledges that have been made are not enough to reach that goal. So our grassroots power must continue to say that we have to do more and to make sure that the nations who have agreed to those deals keep those deals. So what do we need to do? We need to keep demonstrating, keep speaking out, keep educating, and we need to vote. Because 11 months from now, there will be an election. And in all likelihood, there will be one candidate who is committed to climate policy, and there'll be another candidate backed by the fossil fuel industry who wants to take apart the climate agreement. And make no doubt about it, if the United States backs out, goes backwards, all the other nations will lose faith. So we must make sure not only do we continue to speak out, use our grassroots power, we have to make sure we vote and have everybody we vote for a candidate who wants to make progress on the climate and not move us backwards. Because the fossil fuel interests are going to spend not just millions, not just tens of millions, not even just hundreds of millions, but literally billions of dollars to elect a president who will take apart the commitment we've made to addressing climate disruption. So we have a big job to do. We have a big job to do. We've come as far as we have only because we've marshaled the grassroots power against the most powerful and wealthy industry this planet has ever known. We've done it, come this far. We can't stop now. We have to go forward, because literally the future of our planet is in the balance. Thank you.
Among them, I think, is MADELEINE Para. Sorry. MADELEINE Para. She works with Citizens Climate Lobby, which is kind of how I first got involved in the
I just have to give a shout out to Ben first, because he's an example of somebody. So I am so delighted to be here. This is the perfect gathering. There's nobody I want to be here with more than you guys. People who share that passion for doing what we can to move things forward and get humanity into a better place, not to mention the rest of life on Earth. So thank you for being here. And I stand here daring to be hopeful. Standing right in front of you, just daring to be hopeful about the prospects for humanity, given the things that have led up to Paris and that happened today. I think I personally know about 50 people who went to Paris, and I've been reading their blogs and emails, and they just blow me away. They are so hopeful and so inspired. I think being there with activists from all around the world must be just an incredible experience, and knowing that you are there at a pivotal time for humanity. So what happened in Paris? Well, to me, the biggest thing is that 1.5 degrees got traction. That far exceeded my hopes. Yeah, it just amazes me. They set a goal to keep warming, quote, well below 2 degrees and to pursue efforts to stay below 1.5 degrees. All right. So, and the lead up was really important to me also. Over 70 countries and 1,000 major companies issued a statement this fall in support of carbon pricing. You know, the media has been paying attention. I've never seen more stories in the media than I have in the last month in my time working on climate. That's been quite helpful. And U.S. public opinion is moving in the right direction. As Spencer reported in the Cap Times this week, 75% of Americans get it now that climate change is real and human caused, and 60% of Republicans are accepting the scientific consensus.
have weather. So it's a simple proposal called carbon fee and dividend. And what it says is that companies pay... We're celebrating, folks. I'm going to put this mic right up here, and that's my backup band. So companies extracting or importing fossil fuels would have to pay a carbon tax for the carbon pollution that's caused by using those fuels. And then to cushion the lowest income people, that money would get rebated back to households. It's a policy that works. It's been demonstrated to work, and it'll keep fossil fuels in the ground by making them more expensive than renewables. So you can find out more about that from the CCL people in the crowd. So we need this happening all around the world. To promote that internationally, Citizens Climate Lobby launched the Carbon Pricing Leadership Coalition. And that's a global policy-making mission, organization that's mission is to price carbon all around the world. And this wasn't just a bunch of CCLers. We're pretty great, but it wasn't just us launching this organization. It included world leaders. The kickoff had Prime Minister Trudeau of Canada, President Nieto of Mexico, Chancellor Merkel of Germany, President Bachelet of Chile, and Prime Minister Desalegn of Ethiopia, among others, all there. So carbon pricing is a term that's very inclusive. It includes market approach, emission trading programs like cap and trade, and it includes a carbon tax approach like carbon fee and dividend. Put a carbon tax in to meet these goals. But don't take my word for that. It isn't just climate activists promoting this. You have some allies. Here's some of the folks that have been out for a carbon tax in the last week and month. Oleg Deripaska, the Russian president of Rusal, the world's largest aluminum producer, told the Financial Times this week that the only meaningful way to cut emissions was to instigate a global carbon tax. He even said that it's a carbon tax or death. Or take it from Elon Musk, the founder of Tesla and SpaceX. He went to Paris and promoted a revenue-neutral carbon tax. Or take it from the IMF director, Christine Lagarde. She said, it's just the right moment to introduce carbon taxes at a joint meeting of the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. I'm not used to thinking of those folks as my allies, but they are. Okay, so what I want to tell you, like Spencer, is stay engaged, all right? We're in a battle for our planet. Don't back off. Join me in daring to be hopeful and pressing forward for that next step. For renewable energy, and do this with renewed energy. We have momentum. All right, so engage with Congress. Tell them that climate change is your priority issue. Don't back off from that, no matter how dysfunctional they seem, okay? Write to them, write to Democrats, write to Republicans, and if that seems too small to you, then join Citizen Climate Lobby to work on a coordinated strategy to get them. All right, stay engaged wherever your passion is. There are local issues, and you know this, that are extremely important. See, can you make me the climate symbol? Great. And they projected it on the Eiffel Tower in Paris. You might have seen the pictures. So I just want to end by asking you to holler with me, onward, 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 with your climate symbol up there. You ready? Onward, onward, onward. Great, thank you.
This also has to be dealt with on a much more regional and local level. And fortunately, we also have a lot of great people working on that. And the first area I think that's important is local energy and how we use energy on a local level. And Don Ferber from the Sierra Club is going to talk on this, and he to change the way we think about power and how we think about local power. So. Welcome, Don.
Change. They should be out here today. So we need to do something where we can here more locally. Less than a mile here, we have our local utility that's servicing most of the Madison area. 85% or so of that electricity that's going to all these buildings here today, to much of town, is coming from fossil fuels. These are in good part from power plants that they have long-term investments on. Now, we're encouraging leaders elsewhere to make big changes. But doesn't charity begin at home? Doesn't clean energy start here, right where we live, right with what we use, right with who we are? This is what we need to change right here and now. MG&E has likewise provided us with a little light recently with their energy framework. But again, it's just a little light. They can say they will do so much. Mother Nature doesn't care about the shareholders and their profits and doing just so much. We need effective action on climate change. So we need to be reaching out to MG&E to encourage them to do a lot more, a lot better. They claim they want to be our community energy company. Well, does using 85% fossil fuel represent what you want? No! They need to hear that from you directly. They have been having some community conversations, and they, without us having seen the results of that, have decided up to us to speak out and say what we've heard and what we want and make them hear that clearly. We realize there's an adverse environment in this state, but Mother Nature bats last. So we need to be organizing in this community. You need to reach out, friends, neighbors, community organizations, and make sure you keep speaking up at every chance you can. When you get that utility bill and you find out a lot of your charges are fixed, you need to let MG&E know. This is not just an issue on energy alone, where it's bad enough that their higher fixed rates have discouraged energy savings in solar. They are regressive in a community where we are trying to do the right thing for those who are disadvantaged in this community. The minorities, the elderly, the low income, students, other people who are not well off. We cannot let them suffer for the sake of shareholder profits. So what I'm asking is to make sure that you continue reaching out. We continue working with MG&E to say, here's what we want for you to be our local energy company. We want you to provide that brighter future for all of us. Get off the fossil fuels, leave them in the ground, put those wind turbines and solar panels up in the air. That's what it belongs to. Thank you.
Is that of divestment. And for those of you who don't know what divestment is, Beth Esser is here. She's a former co-coordinator of 350.
Joining us today as we hold the line on fossil fuels. As Ben said, my name is Beth Esser and I'm with 350 Madison divestment team. A really important part of keeping fossil fuels in the ground is the divestment movement. It's simple. If it's wrong to wreck the planet, then surely it's wrong to benefit financially from doing so. When cities, churches, universities, and all of us take our money out of dirty fossil fuels and invest that in clean, renewable energy, we, the people, do what government has not been able to do. We stigmatize the fossil fuel companies, and we create the political willpower necessary to pass carbon restrictive legislation, as Madeleine was talking about earlier. In Paris last week, we heard that over 500 institutions have committed to divest $3.4 trillion in assets. The movement is growing, and we believe the University of Wisconsin-Madison should be a leader among universities to make a full divestment commitment. Recently, UW-Madison launched a new fundraising campaign called Always Forward. Have you heard about this? They have red billboards all around town right now asking you to give them money. They want for everyone who supports UW to help them continue to make our university the home of innovation and a force for positive change in the lives of people everywhere. I like that. But do you think that continuing to invest in fossil fuels is innovative? No! Do you think that continuing to invest in fossil fuels makes the UW a force for positive change in the lives of people everywhere? No! So we ask each of you here today to join our campaign. Take one of the orange flyers that we are handing out right now. It has a link to an open letter to the UW telling them we want them to divest from dirty fossil fuels and reinvest that money in clean, renewable energy. Now that is innovative. That will be a positive change for people everywhere, and that will truly move UW forward. We have a goal to reach 300 signatures on this open letter by the end of the year, but I think we can reach that goal by the end of today. So take the orange flyer, follow the link, sign the open letter. It's open for everybody to sign, alumni and friends. Now, signing a letter will not be enough. We need people in the streets like you all are here today. Thank you. We also need people to make our voices even stronger by investing in the new multi-school fossil-free fund. This is how it works. You donate money to this fund, which is invested in fossil-free investments. We earmark it for UW-Madison, and UW only gets the money if they pledge to divest from fossil fuels. If they don't, that money goes to all the other schools that do divest. So if the greatest moral issue of our time is not incentive enough for our university to divest, perhaps putting a cash incentive in front of them will help them make the right choice. So sign the open letter, donate to the fossil-free fund, and keep coming out in the streets to join us in actions like today, because we, the people, will hold the line on fossil fuels and keep them in the ground. Thank you.
And Obama denied the permit. But the problem is that we have another one. We have a pipeline here in Wisconsin and another one that wants to go in. So the No KXL group and 350 put together a little skit about about how citizen activism and citizens standing up and demanding things from their president really can work, and alludes to what we need to do in the future. So with that, I will turn it over to them. They'll be right down here in front, so if you can just kind of, oh yeah, the people with the sign. Yeah.
Up a little bit closer, because this is the premiere performance of Tar Sands Go Home. Now, some of you may not be familiar with the main characters. Exciting theater performance. Hey, we have a story to tell you. It's about some of the dirtiest fossil fuels on the planet. And it's about power. It's about the power that huge corporations have in this country and how we can use people power to fight back and to win. So gather round, make yourselves comfortable, and remember this story, because this is a story that you're going to be telling your children for generations and generations, how we started the movement and changed those corporations.
Hope and change. Dream with me of a brighter future where we cut our dependence on fossil fuels. A brighter future where our children and our grandchildren will live on this planet and make a brighter tomorrow. They'll live in peace and prosperity. Hope and change. Dream with me now.
Hey, you! Tar Sands! What are you guys doing over here? Just sitting around? What a waste! What are you ever going to do just sitting around under this old forest in Alberta? It's all so quaint. I mean, aren't you bored? Look, you gotta think bigger. See, I'm TransCanada, a major Canadian corporation. I can help you out. You know, there's a whole world out there, like there's this huge country called China. You want to visit China, don't you? Well, okay, let's start a little smaller. How about the USA? You know, apple pie, cowboys, Hollywood. Doesn't that sound great?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, okay then. We got a deal. I'm going to take you to the U.S. on your way to China. You'll travel in style in a brand new Keystone XL pipeline. It's real high class. Look, I know you're a little crude, but I'll refine you up real nice in Texas. And I'll even spice you up and get you in the pipeline. I'm going to mix you up with all these chemicals before I send it your way. They're called diluents. Can you say diluents? Diluents. That's right, diluents. They're really going to help you go with the flow. Real smooth. These chemicals are really high-tech, real fancy. Nothing like you'd find in boring old nature. Wow. Great. Well then, follow me. Hey, Obama. Where's Obama?
Yes?
Obama. I'm going to build this pipeline. It's called the Keystone XL to get these tar sands down to the Gulf of Mexico. You're okay with that, right?
Oh, well, that would probably be all right. Let me think about it and get back to you a little later, okay?
Okay, well,
Think about it.
sounds like a done deal to me. Come on, tar sands, let's go.
Where do you think you're going?
Well, we're going to the Gulf of Mexico. Come on, get out of my way.
No! We don't want these tar sands going across our land. You're taking them right across the Ogallala Aquifer.
So?
If they spill into a river, they sink and they're impossible to clean up. Like what happened in the Kalamazoo River in Michigan. In 2010, there was a tar sands oil spill, and now they've spent over $1 billion to clean it up, and it's still not clean.
And I should care about this?
The Ogallala Aquifer provides drinking water for millions of people and nearly a third of the irrigation water in the United States.
There are profits to be made here. And that's all that really matters to me. Now move.
Oh, no, wait.
No.
Obama, come over here and stop this pipeline. Well, we're going to have to take things into our own hands.
Yes.
TransCanada, we will not let you build this pipeline.
You people are getting annoying. Worker, get over here.
Yes?
Oh, this is your daughter? She's cute. Look, I know how you're feeling right now. The economy's not doing so great. Jobs are scarce. See, I want to build this pipeline, the Keystone XL. Well, okay, I can't actually build it because I'm a corporation. That means I'm a person like you, except that I'm missing some parts, like a conscience, opposable thumbs. So I can't really build it myself. That's why I need you. I mean, that's why you need this pipeline, because of jobs.
Jobs?
Yeah, jobs.
Jobs? Jobs!
Yeah, jobs. Lots of jobs.
Mommy! Oh, what is it, honey? Well, doesn't investing in clean energy like wind and solar and electric cars create a lot more jobs? Are those good jobs that pay well and last a long time? Like, I heard that the Keystone Pipeline would only create like 35 long-term jobs. Isn't clean energy better for workers than building pipelines?
Yeah, you know, you're right. You're a pretty smart kid.
Yeah, you people. You'd almost be cute if you weren't so idiotic and annoying. I'm a major corporation. I shouldn't have to deal with this. I mean, I know important people like the Koch brothers. This is such a waste of my time. Look, why don't all of you just go home, or else I'll have you arrested as eco-terrorists.
No, we're people, not terrorists, and we're not afraid of getting arrested if we need to.
President Obama, come over here and stop this crazy corporation. Obama!
just don't think it's a good time right now. Time. It's time to take action on climate change.
Yes.
Time to leave our children a better future, a brighter world. It is time.
Just great. Whatever, Mr. President, whatever.
Little Tarzan!
Who are you?
I'm Enbridge. I'm in another Canadian company. I can help you where you want to go.
Really?
Yeah?
Yes, but we gotta be quiet. We don't want the public to know about it. So, I'm a little bit smarter than that bozo over there. I'll take you right through Wisconsin. I think you'll like it. There's already a line called Line 61 there. And I think you'll fit into it quite nicely. So, I'm thinking of building another pipeline called Line 66. So, if you just want to come with me, yes.
Hey, come back here. Come back here.
Come on, get a little bit faster. What's wrong with you?
Trying to go as fast as we can.
No excuses. Come on, come on.
Hey, Mark.
We don't?
No, why don't you want to go with him? He's a cold-hearted corporation. Why don't you stay in Canada?
Stay in Canada?
Yeah, the Alberta Boreal Forest is so beautiful. You have elk there, and bears, and eagles, and rivers, and lakes, and miles of magnificent trees.
In the winter, the snow covers the land like a peaceful blanket. And in the summer, there are flowers and bees buzzing and birds singing. It's one of the most beautiful places in the world. And you rest in the earth, holding up the whole forest.
Yeah.
You belong there.
The Alberta forests are your home, and you share that home with brave and wise First Nations people.
Yeah.
They've been trying to keep you safe in the ground for a long time, remember?
Yeah. Yeah.
The Alberta forest is one of the most amazing places in the whole world. Do you really want to leave and give up all of that?
No, we belong in the forest. We belong under the ground.
Under the forest.
Enbridge, we are not going to go with you.
Oh yes you are! Oh yes you are! You're nothing but dirty tar sands! Nothing but a natural resources to be used however I want. Come on, you're coming with me!
No, they're not. We're the ones calling the shots around here. And you've worn out your welcome, Enbridge. So leave those tar sands in the ground where they belong and get out of here. Go! Boom! Go!
And that's how it can go. If we all stand up against the exploitation of the tar sands. We've won on the Keystone XL after a long, hard fight. We finally got President Obama to stop that pipeline. But here in Wisconsin, Enbridge already has a tar sands pipeline called Line 61. That pipeline runs right through the middle of Wisconsin, through Dane County and 15 other counties. And now, Enbridge wants to build another pipeline too, Line 66. Right next to Line 61. If one pipeline carrying tar sands through Wisconsin isn't enough, are we gonna let that happen? No! Are we gonna let that happen? No! Are we gonna let that happen? No! What are we gonna do?
Stop that pipeline!
What are we gonna do?
Stop that pipeline!
What are we gonna do?
Stop that pipeline!
Heck yeah! Please join us! Oh! We do want to to thank the authors of the play. Authors, please step forward. We want to thank all the wonderful actors and the wonderful audience.
We have a longtime Madison environmental activist. He's very enthusiastic, and he has worked very, very hard on many different issues.
Thank you, Ben, and organize this incredible turnout. And I'm so glad we have people like Ben, the next generation, taking up leadership to take us to victory. I'm so glad, too, what Madeline talked to us about the victories in Paris, and what Spencer talked about. But there's a danger in that. There's a great peril in that if we become complacent. Because we are up against Exxon, Shell, British Petroleum, an industry with $5.5 trillion of market capitalization. We're up against enormous human conflicts. There's no easy glide path. India and China have 2 billion people emitting less than 4 tons of carbon a year, and all of us in America, collectively on average, are emitting 17 tons of carbon a year. And those peasants fully intend to rise up to the middle class consumption levels that we are living in now. There are enormous challenges ahead, and the single most important message that I want to leave with you is that climate action is not a spectator sport. I want to tell you this play in 3 acts about what happened in Keystone when in 2011, when that was a fait accompli as far as the establishment was concerned, and Bill McKibben issued that call around the country to the thousands of people, many of whom are here today, saying unless we are willing to put our bodies on the line, we are not going to turn around this ship which is headed in the very wrong direction. And over the course of August in 2011, Madeline and 19 other people and I went to Washington to sit down in front of the White House and refuse to move in order to get arrested. Typically, when you do that, you get handcuffed, you pay a $100 fine, and they release you. But to tell you how far we came, that's what happened all along, even in the Bush administration. But in the Obama administration, they saw they were going to have 100 people there every day of the month for August. They were not going to put up with that. Someone in the White House called up the park police and said, "Put those bastards in jail." And so 50 of us, I was in jail with Bill for 3 days in this DC cell block, got a very big surprise. And the organizers had to call the next 100 people coming the following day and tell them, this is not going to be a walk in the park. This is going to be real jail time. Do you still want to come? And those 100 people were not professional agitators. They were no different than every one of you here today. And every one of them, when they got that phone call, gulped hard and said, I don't want to go to the DC cell block, but I cannot not be there. And everyone showed up on day 2. And I am convinced that when the White House saw that jail time was not going to intimidate this movement, that is when they recognized they had a whole new politics coming down the road, and that's what stopped the Keystone Pipeline through the Great Plains. But what you've been asked me to talk about is that doesn't stop the juggernaut. It keeps on coming unless we keep on fighting. And as the Keystone Pipeline through Nebraska prospects weakened and fell apart, another Canadian company called Enbridge started saying, we'll take up the slack with lines that we have that very few people know about that go right through Wisconsin. 375 miles goes from Superior down to Delavan onto refineries in Illinois and Indiana. And for northeast of here, about 15 miles, right past the village of Marshall and Little America, 12.3 miles of that pipeline go through Dane County. And for the last 2 years, your local activists and 350.org have been goaling them and keeping them at bay and fighting them. And when they come back, as they plan to do next year, we're going to be using every legal means to stop them from coming through Dane County. But you don't ultimately win against a $5 trillion industry, if history is any guide, by all legal means. If we're going to win, we have to continue putting our bodies on the line. And it means going from this chapter of having demonstrations in front of the Capitol to going to where the construction is going on. And as 20 brave students did in Texas on another pipeline fight, they put their arms in the bulldozer and they refused to let it move. The problem they had in chapter 2 in Texas was there was only 20 of them, and they moved the construction sites before and after the demonstrations to get around them. But this is Madison. And if you remember what happened here on these blocks in 2011, there were 125,000 enraged people who invaded the Capitol over Act 10. If we stand together and educate ourselves about what's happening and bring that power out to Marshall, out to the town of Medina in 2016, we can make Madison ground zero for the climate fight of this decade. 84 years ago, Franklin Roosevelt accepted the second nomination for president in the middle of the Great Depression. And Roosevelt said, this generation of Americans, some generations of Americans have everything given to them. Of many other generations, much is accepted. This generation of Americans, Roosevelt said, has a rendezvous with destiny. 2016 is high noon in Medina, and join the 350 Madison website to learn what you can do when it becomes your time to ask yourself what you are going to do as a moral human being to change the course of human history, to preserve a livable world for our children and for our grandchildren. And if we don't do that, and if we rest on euphoria for the victories in Paris, they will seep out of our fingers like the morning dew. So with that, I hope you all come to rise up with us and join us in that fight, because just like you asked yourselves this summer when we had the 50th anniversary of Selma and the Civil Rights Movement, was I there? If I'm not from a moral human being, why was I not there? And high noon is coming to Medina, and everyone's going to have themselves and answer the same question that those second-day people said in terms of those White House pickets. I cannot not be there. Thank you very much.
Say a few things very quickly. Tar sands are an invasive species. We are wrangling the Enbridge octopus successfully today. We're going to need a lot more people as this fight heats up with Line 66 or whatever they end up calling it. So I just want to say to you, there are people all over the world praying for something to happen in Paris, but not very many of those people are standing on the fuse to a carbon bomb. The Athabasca deposit in Alberta, Canada contains double the CO2 so far released in human history. We have a special opportunity and a special responsibility to clamp that hose closed. And so if you know anybody living along the line, they have a particular and legal teeth-oriented role to play in this fight. You can see me afterward, the other octopus wranglers that are here today. We have cards we can hand out to you, and what we hope is that you'll get involved. The people in this crowd that have gray hair will not see the worst of this. God bless them for being here. And for the young people that are here in this crowd, there is another world possible, and you will be part of that difference. So please see us afterward. Thank you for coming out today, and help us all keep it in the ground. Thank you.
Wind up, I also want to invite all of you, particularly those of you that are looking to get more involved or looking to do more. A lot of us are going to be going to the Great Dane for food and drinks afterwards. So if you want to come, a lot of us will still be wearing these red hats, so you should be able to find us pretty easily. But we welcome any and all of you to come and just come and talk to us about what you can do and what needs to be done going forward.
Where is the Great Dane?
The Great Dane, sorry, that's good information. It's what?
123 Doty Street.
123 Doty Street. It's on the other side of the Capitol. If you go down about a block or two, it's right on Doty. You should be able to find it. There will be a stream of red heading that way, so you should be able to follow us. I also want to thank everyone who was involved in starting this. This was a very high end. Before we close, Claire's gonna finish with one more song, but I know I'm preaching to the choir a little bit here, but I just wanted to read a short passage from one of my favorite books of all time, The Lorax. He's to make these useless items, and the guy, the Onceler, is reminiscing. He's talking to a young boy about how he destroyed these forests. And and the story goes, "Now all that was left neath the bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, just gave me a very sad, sad backward glance, as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place, through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace, and all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with one word, unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long, long ago, but each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. But now, says the Onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing's going to get better. It's not. And there's a lot more at stake right now than trees and woods. The entire planet is at stake, and we need people like you to care a whole awful lot about this to make it any better. And with that, I'd like to bring Claire for one more song, and we hope to see you at the Great Dane. And also, people will be coming around with little blue bags, and things like this cost money, and these battles are gonna cost money. So if any way that you can help, we really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy I got to be here today. This was a really amazing event, very inspiring, and I'm excited. I wanted to do this Patti Smith song. Usually I can do it without forgetting the lyrics, but I've got them here just in case. She talks about the kind of vision of, what we want, the dreams we have, what we want for our kids and our grandkids, what we want for the world. There's things to celebrate, our successes, and there's things to be concerned about. And it kind of all shows up in this song in a way that I like. And she talks about recruit this. Yes, I'm happy we're all here standing up. Okay, I'll try this without the guitar. Oh, glad day to celebrate beneath a cloudless sky. Air so sweet, water pure, fields ripe with rye. Come on, come all, gather round, discard your Sunday shoes. Come on now, oh my land, be a jubilee. Come on, girl, come on, boy, be a jubilee. Oh my land, oh my good people, don't be shy. Weave the birth of harmony with children's happy cries. Hand in hand, dancing round in a freedom ring. Come on now, oh my land, be a jubilee. Come on, girl, come on, boy, be a jubilee. We will never fade away, doves shall multiply. Yet I see hawks circling the sky, scattering our glad day with debt and despair. What good hour will restore our troubled air? Come on, people, gather round, you know what to do. Come on, people, oh my land, what be troubling, oh my land, what be troubling, what be troubling, what be troubling you? We are love in the future, we stand in the midst of fury and weariness. Who dreams of joy and radiance? Who dreams of war and sacrifice? Sacred realms are being squeezed, curtailing civil liberties. Recruit the dreams that sing to thee. Let freedom ring, freedom ring, freedom ring. Oh my land, oh glad day, hear our cry, jubilee. Thank you.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you, everyone, again for being here. Hope to see you at the Great Dane and at many more events like this in the future.